Welcome back to the People of Penn State podcast. I'm Katie Farnham with the Alumni Association, and today I'm joined by Kennedy White, a 2023 graduate from the Belisario College of Communications with a degree in public relations. Kennedy works in the Office of Annual Giving here at Penn State, but she also just published a children's book, and we are going to get into all of that today. Kennedy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So tell us why you chose to come to Penn State as a student.
Yeah, so I born and raised in the Hershey-Harrisburg area. I grew up, hearing about Penn State all the time. You learn about the alumni network, you learn about the opportunities. And if I'm being honest, I really wanted to get out of Pennsylvania for the longest time. I had dreams thinking I would make it somewhere else. However, with, the many reasons I mentioned, opportunities and so on and so forth, Penn State really did seem like the best fit for me. So coming in, it was during a COVID year, so 2020 is when I started college, and it was very hard, I will admit. But again, throughout my time here, I've learned to realize that Penn State, when they say alumni network, when they say those opportunities, when they say many doors will open up because of that, they really did mean it, and I'm clearly seeing that every day now with the work that I'm doing.
So let's start with how you started in college, being a COVID year. What were some of the experiences like then? And then as your college career kind of unfolded and you had a little bit more flexibility, what were you involved in at that point?
Yeah, so it was really hard in the beginning, I will admit, having to stay in the dorms a lot, classes being online. I'm a very social person, and I thrive around being around people. So removing that, it was, hard to make friends and expand my circle. And I thought, oh my goodness, is it going to be like this forever? So that was really stressful for me in the beginning. And then over time, when things started to open back up, I got involved with more clubs, comm radio, Project Pause. I started a part-time job with Lion Line, which is when I really started to learn more about my current role in development, and how impactful that relationship building aspect is.
So tell us a little bit about your current role before we get into your exciting book project. We want to hear a little bit about your time here working at Penn State.
Yeah, so like I said, working at Lion Line, which is the student caller center during my time there, you're making these calls to people, which supposed to be about 5-minute conversations, and I would always end up with a 30-minute to an hour-long conversation, raising money for various different initiatives around campus and various different colleges that we have here. So that's kind of where it started, and then through that, I found an internship with the office that I currently work for under Division of Development and Alumni Relations, which has been great. That would open my eyes to the world of development. So now currently in my role here, I will travel the country. I'll meet with alumni, family, friends, anyone related to the university, in hopes to raise money for various things such as like scholarship, which is really important to me as I was a scholarship recipient during my time here at college. So to be able to do that meaningful work and give back to students that I was once in that position, it means the world to me.
And I want to talk about something that I think is kind of a canon event for anybody who was a student at Penn State and now works at Penn State. What is that experience like to kind of go from student to employee and having a different perspective of Penn State?
I'll say that during my time as a student, I think I only knew what I was involved in and was kind of closed off to everything else. As a student being in communications, I had no idea what was going on in science or what was going on in the College of Engineering. It's just like little stuff like that. So coming on the opposite end and, working here, I'm seeing all this different news. I'm fundraising for all these different things. And it's like, what we do here it's incredible, and the various different things that Penn State and Penn State students specifically and different faculty members have been able to accomplish, it's astounding. So you truly are able to see the difference in regards to the life here. It's a little bit different. Everyone feels a lot younger nowadays, and going out has been different, stuff like that. But I still do love it. I mean, you can really see the community, and not just the school community, but the outdoor neighboring community as well too at State College.
And it just shows that Penn State is the place. You want to come back to it, obviously.
Right.
All right, so let's get into your writing career. So this is kind of a passion project for you almost. So tell us how you got into writing to begin with.
Yeah, I think it's been, honestly, my entire life. I mean, I've always loved to write. I talk all the time. So writing just came naturally, whether that was homework assignments and essays, like I never minded those, or writing down my thoughts and my notes, things like that. And that's ultimately where it started, so to speak. The book, obviously. I wrote that down my sophomore year of college in my notes, just thinking, this is an idea that popped in my head. I always love to rhyme. I will be honest, I rap sometimes too, just because I love to rhyme. So putting all those notes down and little rhyming schemes, and finally putting it together and realizing maybe I should do something with this, and maybe it won't just help me, but it will help other people as well too.
So you started your sophomore year of college writing this concept. Tell us a little bit about the process of going from concept to published book.
It was very intimidating and overwhelming. I mean, even just as a kid, you see all those children's books, and I thought back to all the ones that impacted me when I was younger. So not knowing where to start, I remember. So I wrote it my sophomore year, and during my time in the internship, so that was the summer between my junior and senior year, I like, okay, I need to start doing research. So I'm researching all these big publishing houses. I'm thinking, OMG, I need an agent. What do I do with this? How do you do this format? All these different kinds of things. And I ended up finding a local publisher here in State College, because she's been amazing in helping me in the process and learning everything. And it was overall about a year process, having to get connected with an illustrator, or, like I said, the format, the layout, whether I wanted to publish it on Amazon, all those different kinds of things. It was very overwhelming, but doing it step by step and having people support me throughout the process was probably the biggest thing for me.
So your book is called I Am Who I Am. Tell us a little bit about the book and where people can purchase it.
Yeah. It kind of started as a letter to myself, honestly. It is very much so speaking to my younger version, but also many other people. And I hope everyone of all ages can relate to it. The premise of the book ultimately is inspiring anyone to dream big, and that no matter how big or small their dreams are, they can accomplish it if they put their mind to it and really believe in it enough. Again, with the book, when I first wrote it, I didn't think anything would come out of it. But as time went on, and I promised myself, you know what, I really see making this a thing and having big success and creating a large impact, that I was, this is good. I'm sitting here realizing like this could really help a lot of other people. So ultimately, people are able to be inspired, hopefully, and pursue their dreams no matter what everyone else tells them. If they say that it's too big, it's unreachable, that's never going to happen, that's not at all the case. Again, believing in yourself and knowing that you can make it happen is the biggest thing. And you can find it on Amazon under I Am Who I Am by Kennedy Lee.
So have you heard some of the impacts that it has had on some of the readers already?
Yes, which is, the biggest thing for me. It was, to me, publishing the book was never about the money or the fame or success that comes with it. It was more so about the impact. My favorite little tidbit that I share, my mom is a preschool teacher, actually. So that was a really huge full circle moment for me, going back to her class and being able to read the book. And one of her students refers to the book as the Kennedy book. And he'll always say, can you please read it? Can you please read it? And I'll go back and flip to the biography at the end and say, I know her. And it's a really big deal. And to see, even past teachers that I had from elementary and middle school reaching out to me, saying how inspiring it is to them. And it means the world to me. And I would love to keep hearing more of those conversations and those comments.
And you mentioned earlier that you kind of were writing based on the stories that inspired you as a child. What are some of those stories, if you don't mind sharing those with our listeners?
Yeah, there are so many to mention. I'm trying to think about it off the top of my head. I know, Dr. Seuss has a big deal. I know that's a little cliche for me to say that, but that's always been one of the biggest ones. The classic, there's so many I can think of right now. It's a really good question. Wow. The Bad Case of the Stripes. Like, there's just so many books, I think, and more so about the lessons. And I think that was the biggest thing that always resonated with me, is reading the book and reflecting it back to my life. Even the books that are coming out nowadays, I know there's the books, the Bad Egg or something like all those different kinds of stories, I think really played a part in inspiring my book as well.
So obviously, I'm sure this is not a one-time thing for you. I'm sure you want to keep going with this. So what are your plans for your future writing?
Yeah, so I have decided that come the new year, I would love to start my second book, and I have kind of made a framework for myself. So with the second book, I think it's going to be a little bit of a different lesson than the first one. Hopefully down the line, I would love to create a series. I think that would be amazing. All of these books that I have in mind will have a lesson. Again, that if it doesn't apply to myself or something that I had to go through growing up, I hope someone else is able to resonate with them. So with my second book, the premise of that will be you can't be perfect at everything, and understanding that it's okay to try, it's okay to fail. You'll never know what will happen. And more so, I was never good at math, and that's kind of the premise that I might be going off of on the second book, is that she's not that good at math, but she's good at a lot of other things, and she feels like she wants to give up and she doesn't know what to do, so she feels that kind of she's stuck, and it's the effort that she feels like she needs to be doing more. And that's how I felt for a long time, and I still even feel that way today. So I think we'll see what goes on, but I really hope to continue being an author and continue publishing more books.
That is a relatable communication experience right there, because same.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about, your position here at Penn State. You were very busy. You said you're traveling, you're doing a lot of trips. How do you kind of manage the work-life balance of being able to focus on writing and enjoying that, but also, being able to do your job?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to come. Finding that balance is very much in that free time and creating that work life. I mean, I'm a very career driven person, and seeing what I can do throughout my career. So to separate those two and know that, when I do go home, or when I have a few minutes to spare throughout my day or whatever it is, if I'm making dinner, a thought will come to my head and I'm like, maybe I should write this down, because I never know where or when I can use it again later on. So just knowing that, creating that healthy balance, focusing on my career when it needs to be and giving it my all during that time, but also if this is something I am passionate about, and I guess this goes to everyone too, but if there is something else you're passionate about, putting your all into that as well. It's okay to find that balance. It's okay to realize, not everything's about work, but for me, a lot of it was for work, and publishing the book has become work now too, but still remains a passion of mine.
And that work-life balance is very important. Keep that in mind to everybody.
I'm still
Make sure you find it.
Yeah.
So as one of our newer alumni, what advice would you have for some current students, almost grads, who are kind of in that limbo? They're getting ready to make the transition into the real world. What advice would you have for them, and what kind of helped you make that transition when it was your turn?
For me, during college, even before college, I mean, even in high school, I'm always so impatient and ready for the next step, and had a hard time living in the present. And again, still have that to this day. So during college, I graduated a semester early because I was so ready for the career life. And looking back at it now, I mean, I love my career and I love everything I do. And I am beyond lucky to be in the position I am now. But looking back at it, felt like there was so much more, or so much life I could be living. I mean, you only get that college experience, especially at the young age. If you go to college right after high school, you only really get that experience one time. I mean, going to Penn State is it's an experience, once in a lifetime experience almost, being able to be on that campus and live in the dorms and live in an apartment and have roommates and doing all those different kinds of things. I wish I could just go back and not feel the need to speed everything up. I know how difficult it must be with, the job market and everything, and finding a job after college, and what are the next steps, but realizing the position that you're in now and enjoying every moment. And I know how cliche that might sound, but really just looking around and taking opportunity. I mean, for the next 40 whatever many years that people will work, it's like you can't get up and just decide to go to class or spend that few hours you have laying on the hub lawn with your friends. Like you might not have those opportunities. So doing that now and enjoying those kinds of things now and not rushing life. I'm still learning that lesson myself, but to know that those things will come in time and what's meant for you will come to you. So just being okay in the present.
I agree. That is great advice. One day you look back and you realize you're going to bed at 8 p.m. and
Right.
you can no longer do fun things. So enjoy it while you can.
Exactly.
Well, it is gift giving season. So all of our listeners, remember, we will link the book below so that you can find it, the direct link, and make sure that you give it as a gift to everyone on your list. Support a Penn Stater.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we like to wrap things up with a quick little lightning round of some Penn State related questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm scared, but ready.
Your favorite creamery flavor?
Oh my goodness, there's so many to choose from. So like one thing I say might be a answer to some people. Seasonal flavor, apple cobbler crunch. Love that flavor. Sass. Obviously your classic bittersweet mint. Love that too. Black raspberry is good. I know some people might not like that, but I love that. Yeah, those might be my top ones.
All right. Your favorite spot on campus?
Oh my gosh, good question. I used to love going to the business building. I loved it there. And another spot, the Westgate, the one classroom in the Westgate building, the big auditorium. I loved it there too. I loved having class there.
Your favorite class and or professor when you were a student?
One of the classes that stick the most with me is Bi-Sci 3. I just remember not knowing what to expect and then ultimately loving it at the end and loving all the people that were in my group with it too.
That is a very niche experience for Bi-Sci 3 of like not knowing what you're getting into, but being like, wow, this has made me think in a whole new way.
Yeah. At the end, I'm like, okay, this was pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Your favorite local restaurant?
I could talk about this for hours. Thank you for this question. Shout out India Pavilion. I love them. And I love the lunch buffet that they had. If you haven't gotten it, you should go. Also love local whiskey and their chicken sandwiches as well too.
You didn't even talk about it for hours. That was great.
I could keep going, I promise.
And finally, your most treasured piece of Penn State swag?
You know, I still think I'm collecting my swag, so I can't necessarily say one piece right now, but I hope that later on I'll get more and build a collection.
That piece is coming.
Yes, it is. And I'm looking for it. I hope it's something good too.
Oh, it will be. I know it. Yeah. All right, Kennedy. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us all about your career here at Penn State, but also your fun passion project. And we are so excited to read the book.
Thank you so much for having me. And yes, please check out the book and support and let me know what you think about it.
Thank you, Kennedy, for joining us today. And to all of our listeners, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Special thanks to our guest relations coordinator, Abrielle Clark, and our graphic designer, Gabrielle Harris, for their work on this episode. If you're interested in listening to more Penn Stater stories, check out the Penn Stater magazine online. And for more information about the Alumni Association, visit alumni.psu.edu. We are.